What kind of stuff is Mamdani proposing? Well, just to take from his apple tree of stupidity, one apple. At one point last night, he was asked about the police, and he said that dispatchers should decide whether it's appropriate to even send the police. Maybe they should instead send mental health professionals, and the dispatcher should decide. Do you want the 911 dispatchers to be the people who are now determining whether to send a cop or whether to send a social worker? So I asked our friends over at Comet, which is a project of Perplexity, what are the qualifications for a 911 dispatcher in New York City? Since apparently Zohran Mamdani now wants them to make judgment calls on the spur of the moment, whether to send a social worker or a cop. Apparently, according to Comet, to qualify as a 911 dispatcher in New York City, applicants must meet strict educational, experiential, and training standards set by the NYPD and New York State. So what are they? Well, first, you have to be a U.S. citizen, and have a high school diploma or a GED. Wow. Also, you have to have 1 year of full-time paid clerical or customer service experience involving public contact. So if you worked as like a customer service person at Walmart, cool. Civil service and assessments. You have to pass the New York City Civil Service Examination for Police Communications Technician, administered by the Department of Citywide Administrative Services. I'm sure that is an extraordinarily challenging test, I'm sure. And then you have to complete 200 hours of training under the Emergency Services Dispatch Training Evaluation Program, which I assume is like a month of training or so, and includes courses in communications, radio operations, stress management, and legal aspects. You have 18 months to complete that. So that is okay. And then you have to have emergency medical dispatcher certification, and also emergency fire certification and CPR certification. So I don't know where in there that qualifies you to make a judgment call based on a loose set of facts about whether to send a cop or not. I'm not super comfortable with people with a high school GED and 200 hours of some form of training and a couple of state certifications being a person who decides whether or not a cop shows up with a gun or a social worker shows up with a pencil and a clipboard when a nut is trying to push somebody in front of a train on a subway platform.